In a strange twist, the top-of-the-table A-League clash this week will feature two sides coming off their first loss of the season. And Newcastle Jets coach Gary Van Egmond will be laying down the law to his players in preparation for the Central Coast.
Newcastle may have lost against Sydney FC at the weekend, but they're far from keen to make it a habit. And this weekend's game has added spice.
Well, it'll be first versus second, and it's a derby. So if that doesn't get the blood pumping for everyone, well, I don't know what will.
Defender Andrew Durante has been ruled out for a further 2 weeks after confirmation of a calf tear. But when training proper resumes tomorrow, there'll be no time to soak up the rays for the rest of the squad. The coach demanding greater competition among players for the starting team.
Have real intensity in our training sessions. You know, some of the ones who probably don't get as much game time need to put pressure on the ones who have.
Newcastle striker Joel Griffiths is under no illusions. He'll be a marked man on Sunday against the Central Coast, and not just because of his ability. Carrying a leg injury, he knows the home side already have him well and truly in their sights.
Placed on ice since his knockover a week ago, Griffiths has barely run since the Melbourne match and isn't expected to until Friday, but says he will be playing. That's when he knows the injury really will get a workout.
Especially when you get a message off the playing against Dean Heffernan saying that, you know, which one's your sore leg.
The one-time Socceroo is convinced Mariners players will target him under instructions from coach Laurie McKenna.
I'm sure he wouldn't say, you know, be nice to me. He'd probably test my leg and I'll probably get a couple of quick early shots on it early. Still a little bit tender, so, you know, I'll be expecting the worst, that's for sure.
As for his teammates, they toughed out 2 solid sessions in today's heat as Newcastle prepares for Sunday's top-of-the-table match at Gosford. The derby shaping as another beauty, with the war of words kicking up a notch today as the Mariners go to Jet supporters.
Mariners members and Marinators have travelled in big numbers up there every game we've had, and they've been few and far between when they've came down here. So to get that local atmosphere, it's all great. You can do it on the park, but you need it off the park as well, and that generates a great game.
Jim Callanan, NBN News.
The Newcastle Jets went into bat for their supporters today after Mariners manager Laurie McKenna accused them of lacking the passion to travel. Already considered one of the best local derbies, the clash between the league's top 2 clubs is shaping up as a classic.
The tension might be building off the park, but there was nothing but love between Mariners keeper Danny Vukovic and Jets striker Mark Bridge at a promotion on the Central Coast this morning. Following Laurie McKenna's criticism of Jets supporters yesterday, Jets management hit back.
I know that we're short-staffed at times, but I didn't know Laurie was doubling up as marketing manager as well. But we have every faith in our supporters and know that they do travel and the genuine ones will be there.
McKenna has also caused a stir by saying Stu Michalek and Joel Griffiths are the only Jets who will cause problems for the Central Coast. Gary Van Egmond disagrees with that claim as both players make their return to the lineup.
If they're doing their job well, then yes, obviously it does help us, but it's not the be-all and end-all.
Van Egmond wouldn't be drawn on whether Mario Jardel would start his second straight game, and also denied Newcastle would change its playing style to suit the Brazilians' lack of quickness.
We've done a lot of crossing and finishing this week, not just for Mario, but for everyone in general.
Meanwhile, Bridge and Michalek have been selected in the Ollie Rouge squad for the Olympic qualifier against Lebanon later this month. Mitchell Hughes, NBN News.
Back at home, Queensland's young guns take aim at the Phoenix. When 2 shades of blue come together, it's a colourful affair. Sydney and Melbourne slug it out in a clash of the heavyweights. Battle lines are drawn as the Mariners and Jets renew hostilities in the local derby. And there's unrest in the West as Perth eye their first win against the Reds. He's the man responsible for changing the face of New Zealand football.
It's been turned in. Smells has poked it home. Pretty near post is Comedy. He's stuck out a boot.
In the space of 6 months, Ricky Herbert has moulded the Wellington Phoenix into one of the Hyundai A-League's most respected outfits. And it's not just the super cool exterior that's earning him a reputation as the league's most respected coach.
His biggest strength is just his communication and his relationship with the players.
He commands respect without sort of, yelling and barking at players, so, everyone looks up to him.
Technically he's very good. He does a lot of analysis, and Wayne O'Sullivan who's come in, and also Stewie Jacobs, they're very good technically as well. So we go into games knowing a lot about teams, what to expect, and they set us up well.
There was never a more opportune time for Herbert to continue his favourable run of form. The Phoenix travelled to Brisbane to tackle a Queensland side that had failed to win at home since December last year. Staring down the barrel of 3 straight defeats, Raw coach Frank Farina tinkered with his 11. In came the youthful duo of Michael Zullo and Robbie Cruz. The latter marked his debut on his 19th birthday. Korean Hyuk-Soo So reverted to right back, with Josh McLaughlin on the opposite flank. Unbeaten in 3 matches, Herbert had steered Wellington into the top half of the table. A win would elevate them to 2nd spot. With Brazilian playmaker Daniel suspended after picking up 4 yellow cards, the Phoenix boss promoted Michael Ferrante into a 3-man midfield. Stephen O'Dore and Carl Dodd anchored the defence. Your commentary team at Suncorp Stadium was Simon Hill and Robbie Slater.
Well, this weekend marks the 3rd of the way through the Hyundai A-League season so far. It's fair to say Queensland haven't quite yet lived up to their pre-season billing, while Wellington have at least equalled expectations across the Tasman. Zullo with a shot. Michael Zullo! Brilliant goal for Queensland Raw. Zullo's first in the A-League. Just the tonic that Frank Farina and Queensland needed.
Beautiful strike from Zullo. Crashes against the crossbar, and more importantly, over the line and into the net.
Well, he's certainly one to look out for the future. He impressed off the bench last weekend against Melbourne. He's impressed even more inside the opening 5 minutes at Suncorp. Marcinho wanted it played short. Zullo's full of confidence. Now Tiato drives one! Side netting.
What's a good effort. Great play from Zullo again, very aware. Got a square ball to Matty Mackay, but he's gone for the little back heel to Danny Tiato. Gets it out of his feet. Good technique, just can't get it on target.
Well, you just sense that there's a bit more confidence about Queensland Raw, courtesy of that early goal. Here is Cruz, another neat turn. He'll go for goal too. Oh, and he's so close to emulating his young teammate.
Beautiful technique, and then he's got one thing on his mind. He drives inside, hits this sweetly with his left foot, skims off the top of the crossbar. Great play from the youngster. This shows that these young boys, you give them a chance, they can step up.
Chance for 2-0. It is 2-0 for the Raw. It's Robbie Cruz, and the youngsters are giving Frank Farina a dream night at Suncorp.
Would you believe it? Good finish in the end, but he's ghosted in from the right-hand side, completely unmarked. Zullo just volleys this one back in. Cruz drifts between 2 defenders. There's the header. Gets his head up, lifts this one in, picks out Cruz. Great header. What a night for the 2 youngsters.
That's a good ball, though, from Hyuk-Soo So. Ronaldo needs support, which arrives now from the very pacey Zullo. And Marcinho! Great stop from Moss.
Great counter-attack. He sees the run from Marcinho, lays it back, perfect weight on the ball, strikes it well enough, Marcinho, and that's a good save from Glenn Moss.
Well, he, like Liam Reddy, has not kept a clean sheet so far this season. Full clearance, too, from Glenn Moss, who's given the ball straight back to the Raw, which is always dangerous when you've got a man of this ability. Michael Zullo in, squares it for Ronaldo, and how's he missed that one? Wonderful play again from Michael Zullo, and Ronaldo
attacks Jeremy Christie, gets around the back of him. He could have shot himself. He sets it up on a plate for Ronaldo. And, well, that's just poor technique. Open goal.
Well, the Phoenix have a corner. Liam Reddy will be desperate to keep a clean sheet, of course, which would be his first of the campaign. 4 minutes of injury time are almost up. Can they get one back? Well, there's 3 men free in the middle, and Shane Smeltz, and they have got one back right at the death. Shane Smeltz will claim it, his 4th of the campaign.
Well, they just don't deal with it. Michael Ferrante comes into the box, gets his ball. The first header doesn't go far enough from Craig Moore, but that couldn't get too much on it. But there's plenty of bodies there. Shane Smeltz finds himself completely unmarked, and he slides that one away.
Well, it might even go down as an own goal to Sasha Roganovsky, but it will definitely go down as a home win for Queensland Roar. At last, say the home fans.
The showdown was the first time that two league champions had come together in regular competition. Sydney was out to equal a club record winning streak of 3 wins, while the reigning champions were the only side yet to suffer defeat this season. Skipper Tony Popovic was the only change from the side that saw off Newcastle last round. The former Socceroo played on the left side of a 3-man backline alongside Mark Milligan and Mark Rudin. With just 5 goals in 6 games, Steve Corica pushed up next to Alex Brosk to bolster Sydney's attack. Having scored in Melbourne's past 2 matches, Archie Thompson showed he was nearing his ominous best. The league's all-time leading scorer spearheaded Melbourne's attack in company with Danny Allsop and Leandro Love. Steve Pantelides and Carlos Hernandez were late inclusions at the expense of the injured Daniel Piakovsky and Lee Broxham. Mike Cockrell and Andy Harper were at the Sydney Football Stadium.
Well, Carlos Hernandez, the Costa Rican, playing on the left-hand side of midfield for the Victory, having to do some defensive work early, not his game really. Well, he is picking up the scraps. Look at the room here for Leandro Love. Closed down by Milligan. The shot from Love was taken early and almost caught Bolton by surprise.
Brilliant counter-attack by Melbourne Victory. It was Alex Brosk who lost possession on the edge of the Melbourne penalty area. Carlos Hernandez dribbled for 15 metres and released Leandro with a magnificent breaking ball. Well saved by Clint Bolton.
There's now a collision, a late collision, and Steve Corica, well, Mark Shield has brought out the cart and Steve Corica has been sent off. Well, Mark Shield had no hesitation and Steve Corica following through with the high feet.
It was a high foot on Pantelides.
Has been sent from the field.
There's the free kick for the shirt grab and the high foot on Steve Pantelides. Mark Shield is in no hesitation whatsoever by reaching for the pocket.
Well, it doesn't look good for Stevie Corica. And Mark Shield had a good, long, unobstructed view of that one. So what a turning point. 25 minutes gone. Corica off. Disaster for Sydney FC. Well, no Juninho, no Steve Corica. Got Patrick there, Brosk as well. Brosk is in the sort of form, in the sort of mood. Maybe caused some damage here. Theoklitos crouched on his line. It's going to be Alex Brosk. And he's just grazed the outside of the goal, Alex Brosk. Theoklitos was stretching.
Well, Theoklitos' first move was to his right, honestly. What a great free kick, almost. Well done, Alex Brosk. Not often can you say you catch Michael Theoklitos on the wrong foot. Well, he set him the wrong way there, and in the end, it was just wide.
Well, will that embolden Sydney FC? Patafta. Here's Allsop. Caceres now. They've worked it well now. The Victory. Caceres floating into the back post. It's gone in. Finally, they've broken through Melbourne Victory, and it's Danny Allsop. Heartbreak for Sydney. Delight for the Victory.
Well, they worked it well. Eventually, Melbourne Victory. Perhaps Danny Allsop could have dummied at that occasion, but he actually thought, I need to take a touch so I can get into the box. It was the cross from deep from Adrian Caceres. His was always to be the outlet, as well as Mark Rudin has done. And it was Danny Allsop ghosting in on the far post.
The Victory, not for the first time, they've left it late. And there he is, the man who has made all the difference.
There's never any love lost in the Mariners and Jets derby. The coastal neighbours of New South Wales love nothing more than a rough and ready contest. The battle for territorial supremacy has made this fixture a highlight in the football calendar. The local showdown has added spice this time round, with both teams occupying the top 2 places on the league ladder. Pace setters all season, the Central Coast has never lost at home to their northern rivals. Andre Gumprecht was one of 3 changes from the Mariners side that lost to Adelaide last round. He started at right midfield with Tom Pondeliak promoted to a central role. Matthew Osman made a return to right back with Miller Jedinak asked to play in the centre of defence in place of the suspended Tony Vidmar. Ollie Roos Stuart Michalek returned from suspension to help guide the Jets to their third win of the season. He screened a four-man backline beside Adam Tapuzzo. Joel Griffiths returned from injury to start on the right side of an attacking three, while Denny was handed another opportunity to make his mark. Simon Hill and Paul Trimboli called the action from Blue Tongue Stadium.
Adam Griffiths, who's playing at right full-back today. Played in one or two positions already for Gary van Egmond. Joel Griffiths will not get the free kick, even though he wants it. And I tell you what, Griffiths had a little lash out with the left arm there at the assistant referee.
Took the touch and into his back Clark, not a lot in it. Griffiths went down, expected the assistant referee to give him the call, wasn't happy, gave him a mouthful, and it looked like he gave him a bit of a jab into the midriff. If that's the case, he could be in a lot of trouble here. Had a bad history in these games, Joel Griffith.
Yep, it's a yellow card. And I tell you what, Paul, I think you might be a bit generous in saying it was his midriff. I think it might have been a bit lower than that.
Well, he was actually on the ground when he did it, but still, any kind of contact with the officials, lucky, very lucky boy there, Joel Griffith.
Now, bit of a lucky break, but Murray has it. Petrovsky waits far side. Gumprecht's offering support. Petrovsky! Oh! Side netting. In fact, has it broken the goal? It has, you know. The netting's come away from its stanchions at the back.
What a wonderful piece of forward play, Damien Murray. We see the long kick here. It was Mark Bridge who just got a touch on it. It actually played into the hands of Murray. Have a look here. He gets possession. He waits and waits. He looks up, allows Petrovsky to make position and rolls it into his path. And unlucky for Petrovsky, he's about a foot too wide of the post, but this is wonderful link play between the two strikers. The power on the shot has taken the net stanchion out. A wonderful experience played by Murray.
This is Michalek. Under pressure from Gumprecht, who seems to have popped up everywhere. That's a great ball though. Bridge! Good stop with the leg of Danny Vukovic. And the Mariners survive thanks to their young goalkeeper.
What a wonderful ball from Matty Thompson. 40 yards into the penalty area, honoured the run of Mark Bridge. Bridge probably just didn't quite get enough on it. But great goalkeeping out early. Vukovic narrowed the angle.
Denny. He's trying to roll off the shoulder of Bogart, who is having none of it. Trying to prod it through, looking for Damien Murray. Instead, it's the Jets' turn to break. Clark trying to keep pace with Joel Griffiths. Bridge, good save, Vukovic.
That was a wonderful run into the channel from Joel Griffiths. He summed it up early, got the cross in to the edge of the penalty area. Stuart Michalek, I think, striding onto it, made a great run from midfield. Struck it fiercely with the right foot. Vukovic again in the right position.
Now Joel Griffiths, will his pace get him there ahead of Vukovic? He does. Vukovic brings him down. Matthew Breeze looks towards the referee's assistant and says that he played the ball, Vukovic. And now there's an angry exchange between Joel Griffiths and the Mariners keeper. Play continues. Another really controversial talking point and controversial moment.
Well, we see here Griffiths' speed got him into the clear. Vukovic was out early. We've seen it all night. He's reading the play soon. He lunged in. There appeared to be contact to the right leg of Joel Griffiths, who went down. He was on the side of the assistant referee. He kept his flag down. Contentious moment.
Andrew Clark can't find Damien Murray. Now they can involve Damien Murray. Pondeliak races away. Pondeliak tries to place it. What a goal! Tom Pondeliak. Exquisite finish by the Mariners' number 10. And finally, the derby is illuminated by a goal.
Absolutely brilliant goal from Tommy Pondeliak. Wonderful play. Murray sets him free there. He tacks the goal, gets his body between the defenders and the goal, and then bends it round the goalkeeper inside of the foot. We see it here. Strides onto it, gets it out in front of his favoured right foot, and look at that. Absolutely no doubt what he was trying there. Perfect execution.
Well, how things change so quickly in a game of football. The Jets hard done by for our money a few minutes ago at one end, and now they trail. Hutchinson, Matt Simon climbs! Burns. Oh, it was so close to being 2-0.
Oh, it was a wonderful climb by the young striker. We see it here, John Hutchison, left foot curling ball. Look at that, up early, hung in the air, directed. He knew exactly where he was heading it. Just got it about a foot wide.
Andrew Clark is finally going to pick up the first yellow ticket for the Mariners. Cue ironic cheers from the Jets fans.
Always treads a fine line, Clark, very, very experienced. Very, very hard in the tackle. That time beaten by Heathfield down the line. Knew that there would be danger if he got free to whip a cross in. Brought his man down.
Laputa can whip it in with the left boot. Came off the shins. Here's Joel Griffiths. And then Mark Bridge lashes it in. And the Newcastle Jets are all square. Mark Bridge.
And you sense the relief there, the Newcastle Jets players. Look at the fans. They're going wild. The ball was whipped in. Beautiful curving ball. It flicked off Griffith, back to Bridge, back to Griffith, and in the end, Bridge again through the crowd, flicked off Clark's hand, Jedinak's thigh, and finally nestled in the back of the net, past Vukovic, who had no chance. Wouldn't have seen it through the crowd.
Well, the Jets felt that nothing had gone their way throughout the whole game. Finally, they did get a bit of luck.
I thought we were the better team, and I thought we had the majority of the play and possession and territory, but that's football. It doesn't necessarily equate to that, and they scored a goal against a run of play, and then we had to really dig deep to get the equalisers.
We come into the game slowly, and once we scored the goal, we felt very comfortable. You know, we didn't really feel under any pressure, but a scrappy goal they got, and you know, they got the equaliser.
It's dark times for Perth, who haven't won a league match since November last year. Rooted to the bottom of the table and facing the prospect of 4 straight defeats, the team from the West is showing signs of a club in crisis. Anything but maximum points against Adelaide would place severe pressure on coach Ron Smith. Having conceded 7 goals in their past 3 matches, keeper Tando Valapi was handed his first start of the season. He was one of 4 changes to Smith's 11. Striker Mate Dragicevic made way for Nikita Rukavicia, while Jimmy Downey came in for the suspended Dino Julbic at right back. Tyler Simpson was promoted to an unfamiliar role at right midfield. Bruce Jittay's double against the Mariners last round installed him as the competition's leading scorer with 4 goals. The informed striker resumed his partnership with Olyroot teammate Nathan Burns in an unchanged 11. Christian Sarkis and Travis Dodd provided the width in attack, with Diego positioned behind the front pair. Commentary at Members Equity Stadium from Mike Cockrell and Andy Harper.
Plenty of tall timber in there for the Glory. Whipped into the near post. Beltrame struggling. Here's Bertos. The volley, the header. It comes off the crossbar. That's been the story of the Glory season. And Nikolai Topor-Stanley, his head in his hands. It just will not go in.
Couldn't clear the corner, Adelaide. Beltrame struggling. Bertos fired it back in. The first to react was Topor-Stanley. Rattles the crossbar.
Richie Elegic. It's his corner to the edge of the box, and a volley. Almost casual, really, from Nathan Burns. The instep, the volley, and it only just cleared the crossbar.
Pure technique. The rehearsed move, although that wasn't rehearsed, the way that ended up on Nathan Burns' left foot. Pure technique. Valapi reacted. Good action. Great pitches. What a player in the making.
Diego caught late. Well, that's what he thought. No whistle from Peter Green, and now breaks for Nathan Burns. Danger here for the Glory. Adelaide have numbers. Burns flights it towards Jittay, who challenges the goalkeeper. It's been turned in, and the goal will stand, will it? It's Diego. No, it's going to be a free kick, is it? Well, I thought the referee had pointed to the halfway.
So did Bruce Jittay. Couldn't believe his luck. A clear foul on Valapi, a terrible cross from Nathan Burns. He is human after all. He had 3 hours to knock that ball in. It's the leading arm, not the challenge so much, not the physical challenge, but the leading arm, I feel, that brought Bruce Jittay unstuck.
Zaleski. Topor-Stanley. They look rattled from these set pieces, Perth, but the mistake has now been made by Coyne. Burns good enough to get past him. Jittay goes on a run. Jittay sliding in, crucial tackle from Colosimo, perfectly timed, says the referee, who had a good look at it. Jete has stayed down.
Colosimo sweated all over Jete. Burns teed him up. Beautiful weight on the through ball. Jimmy Downey's beaten. Jete has an eye for goal. Colosimo slides in, wins it clear, rolls an ankle, does Jete. Excellent, excellent defending from the captain and the Socceroo, Simon Colosimo. Clean as a whistle and a potential match saver.
Very tender on his feet, Jete. So Adelaide still down a man. Robinson tried to win the favour of the referee there. Challenge came from Alagic. Here's Dodd. Gets past the lunging challenge of Colosimo. Dodd's delivery. Chance here for Adelaide, surely. And Nathan Burns, well, absolute golden opportunity for the golden boy. He got it horribly wrong.
Just a burst of power down the right-hand side. A nice tail on the cross and caught in two minds, pure and simple. He stopped his run, didn't know whether to attack the ball or cushion the ball. And when you're half-hearted in your approach, that's the result.
What a let-off for Perth Glory.
And perhaps the pendulum swinging towards the visitors. The last two telling moments have threatened Perth's goal.
The long throw from Topor Stanley. Flicked on by Simpson. Beltrame stuck out a boot, and that's enough. That was going in.
Well, that was better from James Robinson. He's getting closer to a goal as well. But athleticism and desperation has forced a save from Beltrame. Much better.
Dodd. Colosimo. Breaks for Robinson, who's onside, hooks it over his shoulder. Two Glory players going for the same ball. Leo Bertos! Robbie Cornthwaite, superb! Just threw himself at it.
Robert Cornthwaite again, outstanding. Had to throw himself. 3 points that most people thought Adelaide would take home, and perhaps Perth getting back at least to their season's defining form.
It hasn't been the best of weekends for the A-League, with the FFA investigating allegations of poor crowd behaviour at the Sydney-Melbourne match on Saturday night. They've also summoned Wellington's Ross Aloisi to appear before the judiciary on a violent conduct charge. They won't be taking any further action, though, on Newcastle striker Joel Griffith after this incident early in the game against the Central Coast. Appearing to lash out at the referee's assistant, he was booked for dissent, meaning the issue is now considered to have been dealt with.
Joel Griffiths will not get the free kick, even though he wants it. And I'll tell you what, Griffiths had...
Lucky, very lucky boy there, Joel Griffith.
The Jets mentor wants a lift in his team's discipline overall, with Griffiths' misdemeanour one of 6 yellow cards shown to Newcastle players last night. In the end, a Mark Bridge goal earned Newcastle a share of the points, but changes in the win for the playing roster.
Cooling his Jets today, Joel Griffiths kept his head down at the team's recovery session, but as his coach realised just how close he came to losing the chief playmaker to suspension, he was keen to make sure all his players reel in the headstrong play. In all, 6 Jets players found their way into the referee's bad book last night, leaving Van Egmond to launch his own crackdown on ill discipline.
People can get frustrated within the game, but you can't take matters into your own hands and you can't do ill-disciplined things.
There were several contentious decisions on a night of drama at Gosford. Only minutes after Mariners keeper Danny Vukovic was cleared of any wrongdoing at one end, his team went 1-0 up at the other.
Pondelyak tries to place it. What a goal!
Mark Bridge squeezing home an equaliser just 8 minutes from time.
Then Mark Bridge lashes it in, and the Newcastle Jets are all square.
After a week where words fueled the leader, Bridge made sure his action spoke for the whole side in an effort directed straight at rival coach Laurie McKenna.
You know, you can't really come out and say we're a two-man team. We showed last night that we should have easily beaten them.
Bridge, along with Stu Mishalik and Adam Dapuzzo, now leave for Olyrood duty in Lebanon, leaving the coach to bring in fresh players to cover the short term and leaving fringe starters at the Jets with little doubt where they stand.
It's a real test to some of the other players within the squad to make sure that they're within the mix this weekend, because if they're not and other people are coming in from outside the group,
that doesn't speak volumes for them.
They're calling it the curse of the right back, and it appears to have struck the Newcastle Jets for a third time this season. It's increasingly unlikely Adam Griffiths will recover from a torn right quad in time for Sunday's match against Wellington, leaving Gary Van Egmond with few options.
One injured right back, you'd take par for course. 2, that's unlucky, but 3, it's more than just a coincidence, according to the Newcastle Jets.
It seems like it's a little bit cursed at right back position.
Steve Eggleton, Andrew Durante and now Adam Griffiths have all succumbed to injury after at some stage filling the defensive position. It creates a selection headache for Gary Van Egmond, with Durante and Griffiths both hesitant about their chances of returning against the Phoenix on Sunday.
Pain is still there when I sprint, so I've really got to take my time in recovery, and that's why I think next week Queensland is more realistic.
I think probably 50-50, and as the week progresses it might change or might get worse.
You get the feeling Newcastle product Beau Bush would take his chances with the hoodoo just for a shot, and the dedication of the 23-year-old fullback has not gone unnoticed.
He's worked really hard, and full testament to himself that he's come in off his own bat. He's not getting paid, he doesn't have to come in, but he wants to better himself. So it's probably good karma for him.
But he's going to have to fight for it, with underperforming contracted players put on notice as the November transfer window looms large.
We'll just let nature take its course, the survival of the fittest this week.
Jessica Phillis, NBN News.
Jet striker Joel Griffiths says he's going to have to learn how to better handle his aggression after the club fined him for hitting out at a linesman during round 7 of the A-League. He'll be docked a week's wage, with a second pay packet to be slashed if he can't keep a lid on it.
There's no doubting his passion, but Joel Griffiths' short fuses got him into trouble on more than one occasion. The feisty strikers collected 10 yellow cards and 2 reds in less than 2 seasons for the Jets.
Been trying to control it ever since I was a kid.
He says there was no intention to make contact when he flicked his hand in the direction of assistant referee Alex Glasgow in the 4th minute of Sunday's clash with the Central Coast. But there have been plenty who thought otherwise.
I went to the officials' room after the match and I apologised, and he accepted the apology.
Because referee Matthew Breeze dealt with the matter on the pitch by way of a yellow card, there was little more the FFA could do in terms of punishment, but that hasn't stopped his club from taking action. Though there have been calls for Griffiths to sit out a week or 2, the Jets have decided to fine him 1 week's salary with another week's pay suspended if he re-offends.
It is very important that we uphold great integrity and certainly ensure that we adhere to certain behavioural standards on the field.
In fact, Gary Van Egmond's asked all his players to take a long, hard look at the way they treat match officials.
And to pick up silly yellow cards for back chat or very, very undisciplined types of actions on the pitch make it even worse for us.
Jessica Phillis, NBN News.
A confident Melbourne travelled to Hindmarsh Stadium in Adelaide, boasting a 10-game unbeaten streak. The rivalry between Season 2's grand finalists was on an even keel, with 4 wins apiece and 2 draws in their 10 league matchups. Reds coach Aurelio Vidmar was looking to mastermind victory to become the only coach to take maximum points from the champions this campaign. With 5 of his attacking players missing through international call-ups and injury, Vidmar handed striker Des Giraldi his first league start. The 21-year-old joined Lucas Pantelis up front, with Jason Spaniolo asked to play on the left side of a 4-man midfield. Encouraging times for the victory's Ernie Merrick, who was eyeing his 3rd straight win this season, with midfield pair Kevin Muscat and Grant Bredner sidelined through injury. Merrick welcomed back Socceroo Lubo Milicevic to stifle the Reds' attack. The 25-year-old started in the middle of a 3-man midfield in company with Matthew Kemp and Costa Rican Carlos Hernandez. Sebastian Ryle was promoted to right back. Simon Hill and Robbie Slater were at Hindmarsh Stadium.
Look at Allsop chasing back now to help out Joe Keenan. Needed to as well, because Travis Dodd is lightning quick. There's one possession back, touched by Diego. Pantelis drives one. Lucas Pantelis off the woodwork, and then Giraldi air swings. And Melbourne survives somehow.
Well, what a start to this game. Wonderful strike from Pantelis. Had Theoklitos beaten, all ends up. It doesn't cross the line. Well, it's just end-to-end, very open.
Now Pantelis. Spaniolo lays it off. Diego. Spaniolo, Giraldi darts towards the penalty spot. This is good play again by Adelaide. And it's a corner kick, a shot by Diego.
Yeah, maybe just the wrong option, but great movement again.
Michael Theoklitos, arguably the top goalkeeper in the Hyundai A-League. 4 clean sheets again, already to his name this campaign. Again, it's towards the near post. Has it gone over the line? It has. Mark Shield has signalled the goal. I think it's Diego who's got the final touch. They go to congratulate Cornthwaite instead.
Well, it's a great ball whipped in with pace. And the key here is he attacks the ball. Gets in there. In fact, that comes off. Looks like a Melbourne defender. Whipped in with pace here. Attacks the ball. That comes off Milicevic. I think that's an own goal. Didn't touch anyone else. The back post and into the net. It was the pressure from Giraldi on Milicevic. As he attacked the ball, it was a vicious ball whipped in by Spaniolo.
This game promised goals, and we've got one already. Maybe here's another one. Pantelides partially away. Diego. Now Giraldi. Adelaide tails really up here. Des Giraldi drills it across. Fine one-handed stop from Theoklitos.
That's a great save because he went down early. And there wasn't that much pace on the shot. It came through a lot of legs. He's got a strong hand to it.
Now Travis Dodd onside, through the legs of Pantelides. Travis Dodd, sensational strike. Adelaide double their money. 2-0 at Highmarsh.
Well, they're tearing Melbourne apart in the last few minutes. Travis Dodd, it's a good finish in the end, but really not great defending from, I think it was Pantelides. Beats him far too easily. Here they come. Ball comes out here to Travis Dodd. He finishes it with the outside of his foot. Outside of his boot. Here, little nutmeg. Cool finish. Melbourne go 2 down.
Well, he just loves scoring against Melbourne Victory, Travis Dodd. Yep, it's another big test of character. Here's the corner, more defending for the visitors. Partially clear, and then drilled back in by Spaniolo, and Giraldi follows up. And again, Melbourne at 6s and 7s. It was a good stop by Theoklitos, came through a wall of legs.
What a strike from Spaniolo. Des Giraldi must score. Here's the ball from the corner. It's headed straight at Spaniolo on the thigh. Beautiful strike with the laces. Good save from Theoklitos. Giraldi should score.
In fact, it's a double save. They need a leader here, Melbourne. No Muscat, no Brebner. Good play by Carlos Hernandez. Allsop slides one through it. It almost gets through. Then Thompson, 2-1. What a finish from Archie Thompson. He hasn't been in the game, and he's buried it.
Oh, we said they had the quality. That is a great finish from Archie Thompson. It starts with Hernandez. He finds Danny Allsop. He tries to play in Leandro Love. But Thompson, what a wonderful finish. Cassio stretching, can only lay it into the path of Archie Thompson. What a great time to score for Melbourne Victory.
Alligat shaping to go long. Play by Vargas. Melbourne try and play the offside trap, but it's not too convincing. Dodd's header! 3-1 Adelaide, 2 for the captain, who leads by example.
Great ball in from Richie Alligat. What an important goal that is. Ball goes out. Leandro Love really gets attracted to the ball. That's a wonderful ball in. He gets in between Keenan and Ryle. And a great header. Heads it downwards. Doesn't really need to get much power onto it. Theoklitos has no chance. That's a great goal from Adelaide. See, he gets right in between the 2 Melbourne defenders. Buries it. But it showed what a good squad he has. Really, Vidmar, Sakis, Burns, Jite all absent. Bobby Petter, Agostino.
That's a beautiful touch from Travis Dodd. He just gets better and better with every touch. This is Pantelis! Oh, brilliant! Lucas Pantelis!
What?
Sensational!
What a finish. Ball's helped forward there, knocked into the path. Look at Pantelis. He doesn't check, he doesn't hesitate. He's attacking Pantelides, drops his shoulder, goes on the outside, and what about that for a strike? Sails into the top right-hand corner. Wonderful goal and a great performance from Lucas Pantelis.
And aren't they enjoying tonight in South Australia?
And under-strength Sydney FC landed in the West deprived of 7 key players. Perth too were victims of the international football calendar, with 4 of their players absent through Ollie Roo duty. The timing couldn't have come at a more crucial time for the hosts, who were desperate to post their first win of the season. With goals hard to come by, Glory stalwart Jamie Harnwell was given another chance to impress up front. He made a line of three with James Robinson and Tyler Simpson. Dino Julbich returned from suspension to start in central defence, while Simon Colosimo pushed forward in the middle of the park in company with Mitchell Prentice and Nick Rizzo. Sydney's marquee man Juninho overcame an ankle injury to bolster Branko Colina's starting 11. The Brazilian was nestled behind a front three of Patrick, Alex Brosk and Brendan Santalab. Ufuk Talay returned to the midfield with David Drillage to shore up the defence at right back. Mike Cockrell and Ange Postecoglou watched the events unfold at Members Equity Stadium.
Harnwell, Colosimo. Chance here for Colosimo. Forces the save from Bolton. And look at Simon Colosimo. We need your support, he's saying.
He's leading from the front, the skipper. He's not just sitting back. If they can't get goals up front, he'll try and get them himself. And he's really inspiring his teammates today.
Santalab does very well to keep his feet. Almost slides it through to Brosk, who's done even better. Alex Brosk! And Alex Brosk, totally against the run of play, has put Sydney in front.
Santalab gets away. It looks like they've got it all covered, and Brosk just muscles his way in, and it's Tommy Tomic at the far post. First it was Santalab muscling him out, then it was Brosk. He had the composure to steady himself and put it away, but I think Perth Glory a bit disappointed there.
Here's Prentice over the dead ball. Plenty of pushing and shoving going on inside that penalty area. Prentice, Julbich, the shot from Harnwell. Jamie Harnwell has delivered the headline. The Glory are back on level terms.
Jamie Harnwell, he's delighted. Great little dink in here, and you almost thought Julbich has got a score, and he set up Jamie Harnwell so well. Nice little clip by Prentice. Here, Julbich. You'd have to say Clint Bolton caught in no man's land, and oh, he's happy, and he is the fans' firm favourite, and he has delivered.
Who else but Jamie Harnwell? Chance here for Robinson. James Robinson puts the Glory in front. Are they on their way to their first victory in almost a year?
Worked very hard. It was Coyne who just went through the Sydney FC midfield, and Harnwell with a little bit of a flick. Here he is, Jamie Coyne, breaks the lines, gets through quite easily. Harnwell with the little dummy. And James Robinson on the spot.
Well, another goal here, and you think it will be enough for the Glory. Prentice, and he's found the target. The Glory on their way at last, at long, long last.
Finally, they got some luck. It was Prentice. It was a deflection off Patrick's head, which gave Clint Bolton no chance.
Juninho. Tomic with a fist. Drillage with the volley, blocked by Robinson. McFlynn hoists it back in towards Popovic, who wins it in the air. Patrick! Good save, Tomic. Patrick gets a second chance. Sydney are alive! Incredible! Again!
Tony Popovic does well here. Knocks it back across goal. Just a bit too casual for Tommy Tomic. Falls back into Patrick's path and he sticks it away. It was Popovic again. The clever header back. Cross goals. This game isn't over yet.
A second goal for Patrick. We might have written off Sydney too early. The commentator's curse. Robinson, chance here, surely. Rukavica. How has he missed it? From Nikita Rukavica.
That's exactly why he was brought on. Pace, got into a great position, has to score, must score. James Robinson does well. He had all the time in the world. That would have been game, set and match.
Juninho off the crossbar. And Tomic with the clean-up from the rebound.
Stupid free kick. Up and over the wall. Dipping just under the crossbar, but not enough.
It's like a cup tie, this one. Rudin looks up, sets it up for Brosk. Patrick, Brosk. Sydney have equalised right at the death. Unbelievable.
We should have expected it. This game has had it all. And there's its final twist. Good ball in by Rudin. Great header back by Patrick, and Alex Brosk on the spot to put it away. And really provide a punch in the guts of every Perth Glory supporter.
Despite scoring just 6 goals in 7 matches, the Jets had suffered just 1 defeat all season to keep their top 4 credentials intact. The Phoenix, on the other hand, had no problem in front of goal, leading the scoring charts with 11. With the squad decimated by injuries and international commitments, 18-year-old James Holland was awarded a 1-game contract and promptly earned his league debut. The attacking midfielder joined Noel Spencer, who also lined up for his first league start this season. Jobe Wilhouse pushed up to a 3-pronged attack, while Tarek Elrich was recalled into the 11 at right back. With New Zealand's World Cup qualifier against Fiji postponed at the 11th hour, All Whites coach Ricky Herbert swapped his international hat for his domestic one. With 5 of his Phoenix teammates on national duty, striker Vaughan Coveney would be the linchpin in attack. He was partnered by Michael Ferrante, who made his first start up front for the New Zealand franchise. Daniel returned from suspension to line up at left midfield, while Vince Leah and Kleberson were promoted to the starting 11. Your commentary team at Energy Australia Stadium was Simon Hill and Andy Harper.
Spencer. Beautiful ball by Noel Spencer, and Joel Griffiths' pace will get him there. Hirfield wanted it played first time, didn't arrive. Holland, 1-0 Jets! Newcastle's passing, fast-paced football at its absolute best.
Well, the warning shots have been fired since kick-off. Wellington's right side defence exposed fatally there by a brilliant pass from Noel Spencer. And it was left to the athleticism of Joel Griffiths to size up the situation and find the youngster on a full debut for Newcastle, James Holland. And a great start, as we said, from the team from the Hunter.
There could be 1-1. Ferrante's through 101. Oh, he's put it wide. What a golden opportunity for the Phoenix to draw level.
Well, that's a terrible miss. A terrible blunder in midfield. Ferrante pinches the ball from the mistake, and his finish was terrible.
6 minutes to go before the break. Whipped in towards the near post, headed by Johnson. Denny squares it, Noel Spencer. That's a beautiful ball, Griffiths! It's 2-0, and Joel Griffiths does have the goal that he wanted.
Wellington set themselves up, a hot knife through butter, that ball through the centre of the Wellington defence, and Joel Griffiths has made the first goal and scored the second. On the cusp of half-time, the home team have a 2-goal break.
Now, Coveney, oh, he's tripped by Labert. He's in trouble here. Stephen Labert, was he the last man? Well, he's got away with a yellow card.
Very big decision. And Stephen Labert, as all players do, professes his innocence, claiming that Coveney ran across his path and it was an accidental clip.
Now, space for Tarek Elrich. This could seal it. Off the woodwork.
Terrific run off the ball from Holland. He took the defender's attention, released Tarek Elrich, and he shot right off the junction of the crossbar and the post.
Elrich, now Denny, real chance for his first goal for the Jets. Oh, and he's muffed it, absolutely ruined it.
Magnificent pass from Tarek Elrich. I thought I was watching Lorne Bowles. Played with the feet at that occasion. That's just an amazing miss. Just no belief whatsoever.
There's Joel Griffiths back on the edge of his own penalty area. Now he'll break with pace as Denny races away. Hirfield's free on the right. James Holland. Good save by Moss.
Denny on the break, set that attack up nicely. Beautiful link play. It was a flood of gold shirts. The Jets were bombing on completely there, and Wellington with no answer.
Daniel to deliver. There's a melee at the near post. No whistle from Ben Williams. They're on their hands and knees, and eventually it's poked home by Stephen Auld. Now, has Ben Williams given the goal, or has he indeed blown the full-time whistle? Lots of confusion. But Ben Williams has given the goal. So there is a late consolation, at least for Ricky Herbert's team, through Stephen Auld. But it is the Jets who will take the points. They've beaten the Phoenix by 2-1.
We won today, and we won, especially second half, a little bit ugly. For us to grind a result out, that might not have happened last year. So it was very, very pleasing, the fact that we still got all 3 points.
I thought we were so-so in the first half, and let them in, a couple of soft goals, and thought second half a little bit better.
To Blue Tongue Stadium in Gosford, where the Mariners were enjoying their 8th straight week at the summit of the league table. Their Queensland opponents, who had never lost at this venue, were brimming with confidence after their dazzling display against Wellington last round. Matthew Trott was handed his second start of the season following Danny Vukovic's call-up to the Olyroos. He was one of 4 changes to the Gosford club, with Tony Vidmar suspended and Nigel Bogart on national duty. Dean Heffernan and Bradley Porter joined the back 4. The completion of Damien Morey's short-term contract allowed Damien Brown a rare start in attack. After starring for the Raw last round, teenage sensation Michael Zulo was again looking to write his own headlines. The 18-year-old started on the left side of a 5-man midfield with fellow youngster Robbie Cruz stationed on the right. Goalkeeper Liam Reddy was still hunting for his first clean sheet of the season. Mike Cockrell and Robbie Slater were at Blue Tongue Stadium.
Lovely touch from Ronaldo. Cruz in space. Squares it up for Zullo. What a save from Matthew Trott. Well, he had a blinder. Matthew Trott in the first game at Suncorp between these two teams, and he's starting off on the right footing again here this afternoon.
Well, that's a great save from Matthew Trott. What about play from Ronaldo? Plays in Robbie Cruz. He sees the run of Zulo. That's a great run from Zulo. Gets across Brad Porter. Great technique outside of the left foot. That's a fine one-handed save.
The Raw have the first corner. Mackay squinting into the sun. Delivers a good corner as well. Trott has completely missed it. An empty net beckons, and Josh McLaughlin accepts the invitation. What a start for Queensland.
Well, they'll be disappointed with that. That's a real soft goal. Josh McLaughlin couldn't believe his luck standing there. Matthew Trott comes for it. He's all at sea. It's a poor decision to come out. When the goalkeeper comes out, he's got to come and make sure he gets it, or get something on it, fist it away.
From hero to villain for Matthew Trott, who made a splendid save. He concedes a cheap goal. And Greg Owens is on for the Mariners. Clearly an injury issue. So from bad to worse. Cruz looking to get on the end of things. He might do that. Poor defensive header from Heffernan. They're all at sea at the moment, Central Coast. Ronaldo, good body strength. Cruz with a shot, and Trott at full stretch. Tips it around the post.
It's wonderful play again, isn't it? Look at the little 1-2, sneaks it around. Look at that. It's the only way he could have got the shot in. Had to take it quick. And it was a good save from Matthew Trott.
What's going on here? Porter and Mackay contest, and Porter's been sent off. Big decision that from Peter O'Leary.
Well, that looks harsh. That does look harsh. Laurie McKinnon can't believe it. Matty Mackay sliding in. Bradley Porter sliding in. Matty Mackay, not much reaction from him. He comes in the...
Well, that's a massive call from the referee. He had plenty of bodies between him and the contact. He's had no hesitation.
It's not a red.
And Brad Porter sent from the field.
I think it's
bad to worst to disaster for the Central Coast Mariners.
I think it's a yellow at worst. Even Frank Farina's shaking his head. I don't think he agrees.
And the Mariners fans now are finding their voice as well, trying to lift the team. Mackay has skipped away from Andrew Clark. Mackay squares it up.
What a ball from Matty Mackay.
Tommy Podliak, take a bow. That was great tracking from Tommy Podliak. He saw the run from Robbie Cruz. He was quick enough to stay with him as well.
He's done enough to just put him off Robbie Cruz. Great play from Zulo. Tommy Podliak started from a long way back. He'll come into picture. There's Robbie Cruz, peels to the back post. Look at Podliak's run, and he does just enough. Great defending.
20 minutes left on the clock here at the Blue Tongue. No change to that scoreline. Mackay. Here's Zullo. Flat delivery. And it's almost squeezed in. Well, for a split second. It looked as though Sash Ognenovski had doubled the advantage for Queensland.
Yeah, the ball comes in from Zula. It's not a great cross. It just comes off Gumpricht, in fact, and Ognenovski, a difficult angle. Matthew Trott did well. Really gets down, doesn't allow him to get the angle that he needed, Ognenovski.
And they're not out of the woods yet, Queensland Raw.
By no stretch.
Had his shirt pulled by Heinaldo. Free kick quickly taken. Now Heffernan. This time Heinaldo gets the challenge right. First time ball in from Jedinak. It's a difficult one. Simon, great save from Liam Reddy.
What a chance. Ball into the box, drop to Simon. That was a wonderful close-in save. What a chance to get an equaliser, of which you could not deny them.
We didn't play as well as we have been playing. I thought we started really well. And second half, I thought we dropped off a little bit, although we could have had probably the second on a number of occasions. But very pleased to get the 3 points.
You know, the boy's going for the ball. It's a throw in at best, and he's deemed it, but that's how we saw it. And we'll go through the right channels this week and we'll see if we can get that taken away. But we had a bad start losing a goal early, and then that happens to you. But credit to our boys for hanging in. You know, we a depleted squad, we've done very well, and we'll take all the positives out of the game.
The Mariners cling on to top spot despite picking up 1 point in their last 3 games. Newcastle climbed to second, 2 clear of Adelaide, Melbourne and Queensland. Wellington slumped to 7th, while Perth continued to ponder life at the bottom.
Jets super sub James Holland could remain at the Newcastle club for another few rounds after a stunning A-League debut against Wellington. There are moves tonight to extend his 1-week contract before he returns to the AIS.
Talented is one way to describe James Holland, humble is another, as he keeps cool about that much talked about A-League debut.
I think everyone's getting a bit carried away. I've still got a lot of hard work ahead of me, and I'm willing to do that hard work.
He made light work of a great pass from Joel Griffiths, though, to score in his first top-grade appearance for the Jets in their win over Wellington.
It's good to sort of be able to compare yourself to other players while you're on the field and compete as well.
Injuries and Ollie Roos' commitments have hit the Jets squad hard over the past week, which in turn made space for the 18-year-old. He only arrived last Wednesday with plans before the FFA to keep him for a little longer yet.
It's a great testimony to the Institute of Sport down in Canberra and the coaching that he's getting, that he can come in and slot in so easily and do such a fine job.
If my coach back at the AIS lets me, I'm going to stay here for the next couple of weeks and train.
Adam McIlrick, NBN News.
The Newcastle Jets will welcome back some big names for their clash with Queensland this Friday, but they'll be sweating on the fitness of 2 of their Olyroos. If the Jets beat the Raw, they can climb to top spot on the ladder. A loss could see them drop as low as 5th.
When the two sides met in early September, Joel Griffiths snatched a point for the Jets in the dying minutes.
Simply brilliant.
The coach says his team won't be slow out of the blocks this time.
We're a little bit more cohesive as a unit compared to what we were then.
Several strong performances against the Phoenix on Sunday have given Gary Van Egmond some welcome selection headaches, especially in defence. Adam Griffiths is likely to return to the starting lineup, but Stephen Labert and Tarek Elrich will be hard to overlook.
Space for Tarek Elrich, this could seal it off the woodwork.
Currently on duty with the Olyroos in Lebanon, Stu Mishalik won't be rushed back into the side, giving another start to impressive rookie James Holland. Fellow Australian under-23 representatives Mark Bridge and Adam DePuzzo will be given until late Friday to prove their fitness.
They know the way that we play and they know exactly what their role is in the team, whichever position they play.
Mitchell Hughes, NBN News.
Having struggled to find the back of the net this season, the Newcastle Jets are on the scout for another striker. The club has told 2 players they are free to move on during next month's transfer window as it looks to make room for a new goalscorer.
It's a tight squeeze at the top of the A-League ladder. Third on goal difference, the Jets say they're just happy to be in the top 4. Although their performance is improving, staying near the top is not about to get any easier, with the club to take on Premier's Melbourne Victory this weekend, possibly without Stu Mishalik.
Boys seem to
play a little bit better when they're under pressure, and we definitely need to get a result this week to keep ourselves in touch, and also to try and distance ourselves from the 5th, 6th and 7th placing.
The coach will meet with club officials on Wednesday to discuss the plan of attack as the November transfer window draws closer. Already, 2 players, Scott Tunbridge and Jorge Dravandi, have been given the green light to look elsewhere.
Hopefully they can find another club and move to greener pastures.
Van Egmond says the blend of the team isn't quite right. The Jets now looking both nationally and internationally for a striker and some strength in the midfield.
Whatever we're going to get is going to be real quality. There's no use, moving other people on for the sake of just getting other people in who are basically the same.
Christy Carter, NBN News.
History beckons for the Jets. Can they make the short leap up the ladder to lead the A-League for the first time? Energy Australia has been turned into a fortress in recent months, but the Jets normally flag against the Roar on home turf. Can Queensland roar for the second time in a week on the New South Wales coast? Well, you have to go back to New Year's Day to find the last time a visiting team left the Hunter with all 3 points, and another win for the Jets tonight would see them leapfrog local rival Central Coast into top spot, but the Roar have never lost here. How about that? Hello again and welcome to Energy Australia Stadium for round 9 of the Hyundai A-League. Newcastle Jets against the Queensland Roar. It's a sign of how tight this league is that the Jets could be top tonight, or they could be 5th by the end of the weekend. Likewise, Roar could be joint top. They could be 7th by the end of the weekend. Robbie Slater, it's a crazy league.
You've confused me.
I have, but it's not difficult to do.
No, exactly. Well, we know about last year where Melbourne, six or seven straight victories and went right ahead and no one ever really caught them up. Central Coast threatened to do that, but with their injury problems, which are massive for them, they've come back to the pack in the last couple of weeks, and it really has left an A-League table that's very, very congested. Tarek Elrich had his best game for the club last week, and Noel Spencer was one of the best on the field.
Absolutely, but they will start on the bench tonight. There's no Adam Griffiths for the Jets this evening. He's still out with injury, but Joel Griffiths, his twin brother, that's the first error of the evening. He does play, and again, he'll be key for the Jets. And, on the field and off the field, the Griffiths twins are pretty close.
They're the twin valves of the Newcastle Jets engine. Joel Griffiths, the driving force in front of goal.
Griffiths, it's 2-0.
While twin brother Adam puts the brakes on the opposition.
We've always been together really, as we're twins. So to play football together, it just seems normal. We've always played football together since a young age. So it's sort of like a bond.
I think we do have a certain chemistry. Like, I'll say one thing, I'll start the sentence saying one thing in the car, and he'll finish the sentence what I'm about to say. So it's pretty weird. Most people don't really get it, but we do.
And the two flatmates don't pull any punches when it comes to sharing some homely secrets.
Picks his nose. He leaves his dishes on the floor.
He comes in and puts on a yoga DVD and in his tights, and he puts his hair up, so he pulls his hair back, so he's got a big bun on his hair, and he looks quite pretty. You'd probably mistake him for a Sheila too. That's the most annoying, and that's true, isn't it? Look at him, you can't lie.
So now that we're getting personal, what do they make of Joel's infamous altercation with a linesman?
Playing first 4 minutes. To do that, looking back on it, a bit embarrassed, more than anything. Not something I'm proud of. So I just hope we can get past it. But like I said, something I won't be doing to anyone, let alone a linesman. So we'll just have to leave it at that.
It's just one of those just like little snapping things that he does, but I don't know, I think the fact that he he knows Alex a little bit. Makes it look a lot worse anyway.
As I said, it was like one of those brain explosions that you'd probably do once in a lifetime, and there was no intention to you know, hurt a linesman, let alone touch him. So hopefully I'll let my boots do the talking next time instead of my actions.
Yeah, Joel Griffiths, a man who's been in the news, Robbie, quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago we saw perhaps the bad side to his game. Last week he was at his very best.
He was, and look, he's been great all season for them. I remember the game that they missed him, well, they lost him before the Sydney game. That was a crucial thing in Newcastle losing in Sydney. He's been in great form, and hopefully we'll just talk about his football from now on, I think, and leave that incident well behind him.
And you, of course, actually played, was it with or against Adam Griffiths?
No, I played against Joel and played with Adam at Northern Spirit. Obviously, he was younger then, and his other brother, who's a very good player as well, we all know, Ryan Griffiths. They're from a great family. Alan, the father, was a very good player himself, and it's quite amazing to see three players play at the top level.
Round 9 of the Hyundai A-League, it's the Newcastle Jets against Queensland Roar, second against fifth on the ladder, but either could be top of the pile come 10 o'clock Eastern tonight. The Jets probably start the favourites given their solid home form, but Queensland are after a new record too tonight. Never before have they won 3 A-League games in a row, and after seeing off Wellington and Central Coast, they do have that chance this evening. Well, it's a perfect night for football in the Hunter, and a good crowd too gathered, and here come the teams. A lot at stake, of course, for these two teams as they bid to go top, or in Roar's case, joint top of the ladder. Our referee tonight is Mark Shield from Brisbane. And we're all set for the off. Pitch in great condition. Warm but not too warm temperatures, and the Jets about to get us underway. Or rather, the Roar, I should say. And they are kicking from left to right in this first half. Gareth Van Egmond, no doubt, will be hoping that his troops can continue their fine home record, and in all fairness, it's not always been easy for any team in the Hyundai A-League to put together undefeated runs at home. It's one of the perhaps the anomalies of the competition, but the Jets undefeated at home base since January the 1st. This is Michael Zuller making a very impressive run though, little 1-2 perhaps, and well, it's the air shot and then it's in! Queensland Roar have scored within 37 seconds. Absolutely unbelievable. Robbie Cruz.
Well, what a start. The two youngsters combined already. Frank Farina, no emotion, but I'm sure he's feeling it inside. What a run from Michael Zulo. He sets up on the left-hand flank, comes inside, nearly goes down there, and he's so positive. Right into the heart of the Jets' defence. Robbie Cruz has a bit of an air swing there. He gets lucky, comes back to him. He didn't need a second chance. Tucks it away into the bottom right-hand corner of the net. There's the air swing. And that's a good finish in the end. What a start for Queensland.
What a start. It's not quite the quickest A-League goal in history. That still belongs to Lewis Brain for Adelaide United after 10 seconds. But, well, it's not far off. And the Jets absolutely shell-shocked. And again, it's the young kids that have proved so dangerous.
The last week against Central Coast, they were somewhat subdued, Queensland. Very strange performance. In fact, Central Coast dominated them after going down 10 to 10 men. What a start for them here, and Michael Zulo showing all the good that we think about him.
Now, what do the Jets have in response? Matt Thompson's ball in, and Josh McLaughlin happy to put it to behind for a corner.
Wonderful cross from Matt Thompson. Doesn't take a touch, didn't need to. Whips it in behind the defence. Luckily for Newcastle, no one coming in at the right time.
Chuksusa. Touched by Ronaldo. Away goes Zulo again. Was he tripped? Mark Shield had a look.
I thought there was contact. In fairness to Mark Shield, I think he'd lost maybe control of the ball, but I thought there was contact. He burst. Look at the burst of speed here. There's definitely contact there. For me, that's a penalty.
Yep, I think that could well be a spot kick.
Yep, the ball wasn't going to roll away.
Here's Thompson. Round Griffin. Decent ball in. It's away from danger.
Well,
Matty Mackay.
He's causing all sorts of problems down his left-hand side, Matty Thompson.
Bridge makes the run. Craig Moore in attendance. Good ball to find James Holland.
Oh, what a shame. Beautiful the way he received the ball on the back foot. Quick feet, just couldn't find the finish. You can see his intention. He's going for the top right-hand corner. This ball was hit at him with some pace. Look at this for a touch. With the back foot, technically perfect. He's just trying to open himself up, go for that top right-hand corner. Just gets underneath it. Wonderful touch.
Bridge makes a darting run. Oh, great save by Liam Reddy. Bridge tries to get the follow-up home, and Queensland scramble it away somehow.
Oh, it's Herefield. He should score. Wonderful play. Mark Bridge on the left-hand side.
This is North trying to do just that. Very congested in the middle. Good touch by Bridge. Great ball too. Joel Griffiths over the top and wide.
Oh, what a chance. Great little ball from Bridge. Did the right thing, lifting it over the keeper, but just couldn't keep it on target. They play through the middle, they keep it narrow. And there Joel Griffiths just runs in behind Craig Moore. Liam Reddy coming out, putting pressure on him. What's this great little ball from Mark Bridge outside of the right foot? Joel Griffiths just can't keep it straight.
Had their own chances as well. Joel Griffiths with one. Troy Herefield with another. James Holland has shot one over the top. They've got 45 minutes to try and get on top of the A-League ladder. No changes made by either coach at the break. This is Mark Bridge. Getting straight to the thick of the action. First up. Always slightly behind Denny. This is Durante. Too deep for Griffiths. Craig Moore's header. Holland slides it out to Herefield. Oh, beautifully done by Troy Herefield. Was he brought down by Zullo? Mark Shield says yes, it's a penalty. And Michael Zullo, after such a dazzling first 45, gives away the spot kick for Queensland.
That's good play, and the tension straight away from Newcastle on the front foot. Michael Zullo, he'll learn from this. Good play from Herefield. It's just enthusiasm. He's got a couple of yellow cards in the last 2 weeks. It's from enthusiasm. He knows there, the two hands up in the air. He's disappointed with himself.
Well, we had a goal within 37 seconds. Within 90 seconds of the restart at the second period, we could be set for a second. Joel Griffiths against Liam Reddy. It's a goal for Joel, and it's one apiece.
Yeah, good pen, keeps his head, goes for placement. Liam Reddy goes the wrong way. Michael Zullo, after having been fouled in the box in the first half, should have had a penalty himself, commits a foul. Don't worry, son, we'll get over it. We'll learn from that.
Good penalty.
Very good pen from Joel Griffiths. Keeps his head, perfect placement. Keeper goes the wrong way. And it's just what Gary Van Egmond would have wanted.
His third goal of the season. He goes to the top of the Jets scoring list. And it's game on at Energy Australia Stadium.
No, well, it was a good run from Herefield as well. Give credit to that.
Wonderful setting, Energy Australia Stadium on a Friday night. Has a real football feel to it. Another good crowd, I'd estimate around about the 13,000 mark. Good noise being made by the squadron. And their team playing some good stuff. This is Matt Thompson as they seek to try and take the lead. Well, no penalty awarded by Mark Shield. Thompson is furious. Craig Moore nonplussed.
Free kick, yellow card.
Certainly looked that way. Oh, now a slip by Liam Reddy. And unfortunately for him, Sasha Oganovsky was aware of the situation. Now there's a frank exchange of views between Oganovsky and Joel Griffiths. All handbags, really.
Well, Liam Reddy's the most relieved man. Joel Griffiths, he's getting a stare from Oganovsky. Oh, tell you what, I wouldn't like to meet Big Sash in a dark alley, that's for sure.
The old monster.
Look at this, the ball goes there and he's just laying to run, and Joel Griffiths, well, that's his style. Aggressive, and Oganovsky wasn't.
Now Cruz, nobody picked him up. Beautiful control. Was he tripped by Labert? Penalty. Second penalty of the game. Labert penalised, yellow card, and the Raw have the chance to restore their lead.
Well, the ball comes in. Cruz finds himself completely unmarked on the penalty spot. Labert comes in. That's a clear-cut penalty. Got him caught on the wrong side. Robbie Cruz coming in from the right-hand side, got in between Thompson and Labert.
It's Craig Moore for the chance for his first A-League goal. Oh, it's saved by Ante Kovic. Not a great penalty, but Ante Kovic keeps the scoreline level at 1 apiece.
That's a very good save. It's like you said, Simon, I guess when you miss a penalty, you always say, well, it's not the greatest strike. It's low. And Kovic is a big man. He gets down very well, a strong left hand. And crucially, no Queensland Raw player even attempting to follow in.
Well, virtually the first time he's been called into action in the second period. That was flicked on by Oganovsky at the near post. And Craig Moore, who scored at a World Cup from the penalty spot, is denied by one of the men who was one of his Socceroo teammates.
Durante was definitely the better defender. Well, it's more going forward.
Matt Thompson hits it. Might have taken a touch on the way through.
It certainly did. Took a deflection and took a bit of pace off it, which was good for Liam Reddy, I feel. I think it's his best position. I don't think he gives you enough as a right back. He's much more comfortable in the centre of the park.
I'll tell you what, back to you telling Danny Tiato that he's playing there next week. Well, now, something for Mark Shield to sort out. Oganovsky involved.
Play both of them in the middle of the park, I'd say, to Danny. But
Joel Griffiths is claiming that he got a whack to the back of the bonds there from Oganovsky. That little battle has been going on all night. Well,
he's a strong man. He didn't look well. Joel Griffiths was behind him. He's holding the back of his neck.
I think it's fair to say he rebounded off the body of Oganovsky.
More importantly, a dangerous position for Queensland to defend.
McLaughlin's header helped on by Oganovsky, who's not very popular around Hunter at the moment. Have to wait a while. Cavalry's up from the back for the Raw. Oh, and it's a good header, and it's just wide. And the Raw so very close to going back in front. Adam Deputso's picked up a knock in the process. It was a good delivery from Matty Mackay.
I think it was Ronaldo in there. A decent header. There's a lot of bodies in there. Good ball in from Matty Mackay. Stands it up to the back post. Ronaldo, really a free header again. I mean, I don't like to get on his back, but I must say that he must hit the target from there.
I'm not sure about Nathan Burns. That was more like Jacob Burns, perhaps. There's a terrier in midfield as well. This is Thompson.
Good tackle from Griffin.
Bridge, who, like the Puzzos, coming off a very long flight to the Middle East. That's a good dink in, and Holland gets the header, and it just drops onto the top of the net.
It just loops over the top. It certainly had Liam Reddy concerned.
Well, Queensland would be absolutely filthy if they lost this. having been in the lead and having had the chance to retake the lead from the penalty spot. They might lose though. Here's Holland. What a tackle by Oganovsky.
What a tackle that is from Oganovsky. He has had a very, very strong game, and you might just have witnessed one of the tackles of the season. James Holland just about to pull the trigger, a certain goal, and that is first-class defending.
I think on reflection, I might think that they might have had more. But that's the way it does end up. The second draw of the season between these two. The Jets go level on points at the top with the Central Coast Mariners, but they'll stay second on goal difference. The Roar into the 4 as well for now. Full time at Energy Australia Stadium. The Newcastle Jets 1, Queensland Roar 1. From me, Simon Hill, from Robbie Slater, and from all the football team, it's goodbye from the Hunter.
In 5 previous visits to the Harbour City, Adelaide had failed to register victory on Sydney soil. However, their 4-1 demolition of Melbourne last round was arguably the performance of the season and instilled a confidence that threatened to rewrite the history books. The competition's youngest player, 17-year-old Nick Zitalios, earned his first league start after Mark Milligan failed a late fitness test on his calf. The left-sided player was one of 4 new faces in midfield. Adam Casey returned from Ollie Roo commitments, while Ufuk Talay and Robbie Middleby were promoted to provide crucial support to the front pair. The mainstay of the Reds' defence, Ange Costanzo, was eyeing the club's second clean sheet of the season. He was partnered in the middle of a flat back 4 with Robert Cornthwaite. Lucas Pantelis and Jason Spaniolo were again handed starts on the left, while Des Giraldi was at the pointy end of Adelaide's attack. Mike Cockrell and Andy Harper called the action from Sydney Football Stadium.
Still waiting for his first goal in the Hyundai A-League. Cassio, one of 13 Brazilians in the competition. A couple of them on show tonight. Most of all, of course, this man here, Juninho, looking for his first goal.
Already you can see at him favouring that shoulder. He's made an impassioned plea through the Sydney press today that he wants to be spoken about in terms of his football, not his injury.
Cassio, good work from him, slides it into Pantelis, the square ball, save from Bolton, and cleans up at the second attempt.
You can see Rudin being dragged out of the centre of defence there. Lucas Pantelis with the penetrating running behind, and that's outstanding anticipation from Clint Bolton. Zitalios was beaten pointless by Travis Dodd, a much more physical and much more experienced opponent, but it was Bolton to the rescue.
They are working in a pack here, Adelaide, to win the ball back. They've done it through Pantelis. It's taken a deflection. Right break here for Diego. It's squeezed through somehow. Spaniolo took the shot. It's come off the fingertips of Bolton.
Again, well done, Clint Bolton. Not quite sure that ball wasn't going wide of its own accord, but Bolton had to make a save and he stretched well. And 4 players couldn't take the heat out of the situation for Sydney against 1. Pele, Middleby, Rudin all swarming, and it's Spaniolo who swings at goal, and Bolton's up to it.
Pele under the feet. Casey tries to get away from Diego, gets a ball inside, a good one, Patrick, off the crossbar, and away to safety.
Well, what a goal that would have been. And the key to it was a player from Sydney who looked to get outside his defender, attack the byline and cut the ball back.
Still in the Sydney half of the field. No flag. Cassio is onside. Looks for Dodd. Well, has that struck his teammate, Nathan Burns?
Cassio had sprung the offside trap unintentionally, but it was Fife who played him on. And the cross through traffic found Travis Dodd. Great run from Dodd. Great save from Nathan Burns.
Nathan Burns probably would have expected to be in the starting side tonight. Didn't have one of his better games in his last game for Adelaide away to Perth Glory. Positive run here from Dodd. Chance here for Adelaide. The shot's on target against the run of play, perhaps. Lucas Pantelis. has opened the scoring.
Well, full marks, Aurelio Vidmar. He changed the formation in the second half. 3 at the back, 2 up front rather than Giraldi by himself. Sydney, not the first team to struggle with Travis Dodd's incisive and pacey penetration. And Lucas Pantelis with that left foot of his again, he rarely misses. They had the numbers to defuse that Sydney, but they weren't good enough in the end, and Adelaide have taken the lead.
Pacey, so too much of it. Diego nips in for Adelaide. Look at this run from Cassio. In the middle is Giraldi. Des Giraldi. Wow, how did he miss that one?
Well, Cassio, talking about putting it on a plate, you can only, I guess, concede rustiness for Des Giraldi. A gilt-edged chance.
Santalab. Now Patrick. Here's McFlynn. Brosk gets the better of Cornflake. Real chance here for Sydney. Brosk. Save from Beltrame.
Alex Brosk did him like a dog's dinner on the edge of the box, but look at the recovery he makes. Putting enough pressure on Brosk to not be able to put it on a tee. Beltrame did brilliantly. Santalab was static. No midfielder looking through to come and clean up.
And indeed, there is the full-time whistle. So the Reds have made history. Adelaide United have won in Sydney for the first time. A goal early in the second half from Lucas Pantelis. Good enough.
The top of the table Mariners crossed the Tasman buoyed by news they had secured the services of Socceroo striker John Aloisi for the remainder of the season. Winless in 3, the Central Coast met a Wellington side that had suffered back-to-back defeats. Aloisi's older brother Ross was looking to captain the Phoenix to just their second win of the season. He marshalled the midfield alongside Tim Brown and Vince Leah. Prized signing Ahmed Elrich played on the right side of a trio of attackers which included the return of all-white Shane Smeltz. With 3 goals to his name this season, Sasho Petrovski was the club's leading marksman. He was paired up front with youngster Matt Simon, who had the distinction of making his first league start. Danny Vukovic and Nigel Bogard returned from international call-ups, while skipper Tony Vidmar was recalled from suspension. Your commentary team at Westpac Stadium was Fred de Jong and Harry Nata.
Touch from Petrovski. Pondoliak looking to break through the gap. Petrovski wins the ball again. Just lays it off. Chance. And it's 1-0 to the Mariners. Dean Heffernan coming forward from left back. You can't give a man of his quality that sort of space.
Stephen O'Donnell caught in 2 minds. Pushed off the ball by Petrovski. Pushed off too easy by my liking. But a great finish by Heffernan. And Moss got a hand to it as well. We see Petrovski. Dean Heffernan hitting it first time. Many times I've seen that Dean Heffernan getting forward on numerous occasions in the past.
Lockheed with the throw. Here's Daniel. Chance with the ball at his feet. Finds Elrich. Christie's got Akers. Elrich with the shot! Well, the Phoenix are looking for something special from their marquee player, and he's delivered.
What an absolute scorcher from Ahmed Elrich. Nice little turn. One thing in mind is that was to hit the ball as hard as he could on target. Vukovic, no chance in goal. Fantastic strike, a great start for Ahmed Elrich.
Well, it certainly brought the crowd to life. Kwasnick with the delivery. That's a good ball. That's a shove in the back, and that's a penalty. And I don't think the Phoenix can have too many complaints about that. Simon was going for the ball, and I think Carl Dodd's given him a good old shove in the back.
Yeah, Kwasnick, great ball into the box. Clear shove from Carl Dodd. He got a finger in the eye, or a hand in the eye too, from Matt Simon on his way down.
So it'll be Sasha Petrovski to take the penalty. Petrovski versus Moss. And he's missed it. The crowd really making their feelings felt.
Yeah, Glenn Moss did his best to put him off as well. I don't think he would have got there either if that been on target.
Barbarouses to show Smeltz. Smeltz round the back of the defence. Smeltz just checks his run and gets bundled over, and the defence comes across. He's still battling away, Smeltz. Leah's in the box, so is Daniel. Pass never reaches him. Now the Phoenix have to defend. Simon. It's a good ball to Petrovski. Petrovski inside O'Dore. And Christie's missed the ball. Petrovski goes round the keeper. And right at the death, Sasha Petrovski's stolen the points for the Mariners.
Just can't give someone like Sasha Petrovski that sort of room. He does some great work, Petrovski there. Got the luck of the bounce there. Christie outside the left foot. Played him in. He wouldn't have scored an easier goal in his career, I think, Sasha Petrovski. And it's heartbreak for Ricky Herbert's side.
All the good work undone by a moment of madness.
The league's leading scorer was determined to let his boots do the talking, and there was never a more opportune time than against 8th-placed Perth. The team from the West hadn't won a league game since November last year. Defender Sebastian Ryle was part of a Melbourne backline that hadn't conceded a goal at home all season. The young Socceroos' solid form was rewarded with another start at right back. Grant Brebner and Lee Broxham anchored the midfield, the latter asked to fill the shoes of injured skipper Kevin Muscat. Nikolai Topor-Stanley was recalled to the Glory defence following his involvement in the 2008 Olympic qualifiers. He started at left back with fellow Olyrood teammate Tando Valapi, replacing Tommy Tomic in goal. After getting on the score sheet last round, strikers Jamie Harnwell and James Robinson were hoping their goal-scoring touch would continue. Mike Cockrell and Andy Harper were at the Telstra Dome.
Thompson's onside. Valapi's hesitated. It could prove fatal. Archie Thompson, the challenge from Coyne. And what has Simon Prisdak ruled? No penalty.
Well, two fatal hesitations. What a ball over the top. Line ball decision. The assistant referee, congratulations to him, says play on. But what about this for a tackle? Valapi had hesitated almost fatally. He was let off the hook.
Clever ball by Broxham. Early delivery. Keenan surely. Danny Allsop can hardly believe it.
Brilliant attack from Melbourne. Brilliant pass from Lee Broxham. Weighted, inch perfect. Look at that, threaded the needle. And Tyler Simpson was beating all ends up. It's a perfect cross from Keenan as well. And it's a less than perfect contact from Danny Allsop. Made the save easy in the end for Tando Valapi.
Hernandez, they're playing some delightful stuff here, Melbourne. Carlos Hernandez, Allsop gets another top of the Yates. Hernandez! Carlos Hernandez breaks his drought. The victory take the lead. Delight around the Telstra Dome.
Absolutely, unequivocally unstoppable. And it was Carlos Hernandez, the Costa Rican international. A case of well worth the wait. The back heels, the intuition, the one touch, and the firecracker. 1-0 Melbourne.
Well, they reckon he had a bomb in that right foot, Carlos Hernandez. And there is the evidence. Finally, he gets his reward. Finally, he gets a goal.
The visitors are fighting for their A-League lives at the moment. My suggestion is Simon Colosimo's playing too high up the field.
Keenan does well to skip away from Tyler Simpson. Goes towards the byline. Joseph Keenan. Cover came from Jamie Coyne, but he left Tyler Simpson for dead. For mine, I think Tyler Simpson struggling badly in these conditions.
Cannot come to grips at all with Joseph Keenan. Down the left-hand side, Melbourne have been very, very good.
And it comes from Kempt. The header's on target. Double trouble for the Glory. Melbourne extend their lead. It's Ronnie Vargas.
Well, I'm not sure that Archie Thompson didn't get the last touch on that one. Keenan won the corner. Kempt took the corner. Vargas leaps. Look at this through the centre of your screen. And it was Thompson with the flick for 2-0.
Well, there may be confusion about who scored the goal. There's no doubt about the scoreline. They are proving a point here, Melbourne victory. And it's a painful lesson at the moment for Perth. Colosimo. Sekulowski forces the save from Theoklitos. Better stuff.
Key save from Theoklitos. Sekulowski with the header that tested him. And he's parried round the post. Very important save.
Smith trying to find some answers. Here's Downey. Gets away from Keenan. Gets past the second man, squares it up. How have they missed it? Jamie Harnwell right in front of an open goal.
They worked it wide to Downey, who used his pace and put it on a plate for Jamie Harnwell, obviously facing the wrong area and couldn't quite manipulate his body to get the ball into the goal.
Prentice. Topor Stanley gets in front of Kemp. He's done very well here, Topor Stanley. Looking for Harnwell, and Jamie Harnwell has handed to Glory the lifeline.
And Perth have learnt their lesson. They've been out on their feet, the Glory, with a beautiful switch of play from Mitchell Prentice. The real work was done by Nikolai Topor Stanley on the end, back from Lebanon. Oliver representation, right on a plate for Jamie Harnwell. And 2-1, the Glory have threatened. As much as they've been outplayed, they've threatened. And it was third time lucky for the Glory.
Julbich has turned it over. A chance for Melbourne to counter. Allsop has Love to his left. Running through the middle is Matthew Kemp. Chance here for Kent. What a chance for Kent.
And a good counter-attack too. Julbich was the wrong side of Kemp. He couldn't get back quickly enough. Kemp couldn't find the target, but it was beautifully set up by Danny Allsop.
He has to go long here, Colosimo. They've got no time for it. But they're pushing forward. Is there going to be some late drama here at the Telstra Dome? Here's Dans. Julbich. Harnwell. The shot on the turn. That's the last chance of the match. No fairy tale story for the Glory. It's a victory for Melbourne, but only just.
There was a send-off, the yellow cards flowed and 2 goals were scored by Twins in the Jets' win over Melbourne in A-League football last night. After a controversial start, it didn't take long to develop into one almighty grudge match. Even before a ball was touched, the Jets really were kicked in the guts. Stuart Michalik was struck down with a stomach bug just before kick-off, and only then did coach Gary Van Egmond realise his gun midfielder wasn't going to start. After some last-minute paperwork, referee Matthew Breeze allowed Noel Spencer to take his place. When the match eventually started, Jade North's foot kept the hosts out of trouble in defence, while Newcastle has the head of Adam Griffiths to thank for this.
Griffiths header, goal Jets!
There was some conjecture about contact within the box. Down the other end, the rough and tumble continued.
1-2, down goes the third domino.
The Jets' only import on the park showed promise,
Danny shot.
while Melbourne's best chance wasn't realised, despite 2 touches from Archie Thompson. Things deteriorated for the victory when defender Steve Pantelides lashed out at Joel Griffiths.
It's a straight red card for Pantelides.
It didn't take long for the striker to exact revenge, exploiting the 10-man victory side.
3 goals in 3 games for Joel Griffiths.
It was the Victory's first loss at home this season, and Melbourne is still yet to beat the Jets under Gary Van Egmond's stewardship. Jets coach Gary Van Egmond knows exactly what Sydney's John Kosmina is going through, with both parachuted into a head coaching role in similar circumstances, albeit a year apart. Their teams will meet on Saturday night after coming off big wins. In his first game as caretaker 12 months ago, Gary Van Egmond presided over a breakthrough win for the Jets, and he's been coach at Newcastle ever since.
It's been a hell of a week in the history of this club.
John Kosmina did something similar at Sydney FC over the weekend, and his Newcastle counterpart knows just how restrictive the new role can be.
You can't really do a great deal, you can't buy and sell. You've sort of got, realistically, someone else's team.
As for Van Egmond's team, seasoned defender Matt Thompson will sit out the Sydney match after receiving another yellow card in the Jets' 2-0 win over Melbourne, his 150th A-League game.
Yeah, Tomo was obviously disappointed. It's the first time he said he's been suspended, and it's the first time he's missed a game. But he's, just wants to ensure that we try and get the 3 points this week.
There could also be a spot in the midfield with Stu Michalik undergoing further tests today. It was thought a gastro bug forced him out of Friday night's match. Appendicitis hasn't been ruled out either.
Maybe he's picked up a bug from overseas, we're not too sure. But again, we'll hopefully get to, excuse the pun, the bottom of it.